Yannanators, welcome back to my channel. So me and Janae are doing a little boil. And Aiden, he wanted crab legs. Over here. There you go. There you go.
You get me.
I gotta crack them for you. So we got snow crabs and shrimp. And we got potatoes, corn. I made some boiled egg for me, lemon, butter. And we got some Arnold Palmer's spiked. They're good. Only for adults. You don't drink them if you're not.
And you guys.
You to eat. We got want me to make the crack his crab legs. Aiden don't want it now.
Mommy, my movie is loud. Mom, my movie is loud.
Okay. What's that we've been talking about a lot of? Men. Let's talk about that. We've been talking about men, particularly exes. Boo, 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 boo.
Mommy,
that means shots fired, guys.
Mommy, I watched this already. Mommy.
Okay, we just been talking about.
Yeah, all right.
Go play.
Mom.
We just been talking about how much better off we are, how much more we know now, being out of our previous relationship. Some of the things that we hear from others who aren't quite on that path yet to getting out of their toxic relationships. Yeah. You know, just noticing some patterns from our old selves. Yeah. In people nowadays. Yeah. It's been very interesting. And just like taking responsibility, obviously, for our own parts in, you know, it maybe not going as great too, but definitely recognizing and reassuring why we had to get out of those situations. And this isn't to like necessarily like no bashing. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. I haven't probably get the crab messed up. No bashing. No, we're not dressed alike today on purpose. No, this wasn't planned. It just happened. The mukbang wasn't even planned, but nope. By the grace. These crab legs is fire. So yeah, why don't you tell us 3 lessons that you learned from your last relationship? So I would say first lesson, sorry y'all, I'm gonna be getting I learned is it's okay to want to talk. You should not feel ashamed or feel as though like doubt yourself or second guess yourself because you maybe want to talk about something that you didn't like that happened earlier that day or just something that was on your mind. I feel like in your relationship, just like in your home, it should bring you peace. If it doesn't bring you peace, then something's a little off about it. And you may have to, you know, sit down with that person or sit down with yourself and, you know, make the better decision. So I would say being able to communicate about anything and everything. I will also say quality time is big too. And you said lessons? 3 of them. Like quality time and having trust in a relationship. If there's no trust, it's not gonna work. Whether it's just one-sided, both-sided, no one's saying nothing but it's there. However, trust has to be good, like solid. I mean, whatever you think solid is times that by 1,000,000. Yeah. Yeah. And yours? My 3 lessons. I hope I answered that correctly. Yeah. Say so. My 3 lessons. The first one would have to be something very cliche, but something that rings true every single time. Hold on. Somebody tells you or shows you who they are,
Believe him the first time.
Right. Aiden, stop. Wait.
Believe him the first time. Don't assume. Don't assume. Don't presume. Don't make things up.
Yeah.
Take things for as they are, for what the person says they are, and go from there.
Yep.
Something I did a lot in my relationship was try to create my ideal version of the way things were supposed to go, instead of accepting the way things were actually going. And you get let down that way. And let's see. Number 2 would be, there's got to be some destination, I feel, in your relationship. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean the destination is marriage. I don't necessarily mean the destination is kids.
Right.
But if there are any plans that your partner is making,
Right.
the plan should say we.
Yeah.
And if they don't say we, they should at least include you somewhere in them.
Right.
If the plans don't include you somewhere in them, you're not in them.
Yeah.
So be aware. Or if you're confused about where you fit into your partner's plans, maybe ask. If they have an answer, great. If they don't, it's probably a problem.
Right.
And the third, probably another cliche. It is another cliche, not probably, it is. But it's really that you have to love yourself before you can accept love from anyone else.
Say it one more time.
You got to love yourself.
Who now?
Yourself.
What you gotta do?
Love yourself. Come on in here.
That's a word.
In order to accept love from anyone else.
That's true.
It'll never feel genuine coming from someone else.
And I also think, just to capitalize off of that too, not to interrupt you.
Sure.
I think it's also good to be okay with spending time with yourself too. Part of that self-love, self-care type of thing too. Be okay and be at peace with you too. That's all I'm gonna say.
Love from someone else will never feel genuine. It'll never feel like enough.
Yeah.
If you don't love yourself. You'll be searching for self-love in others. And you just can't get it.
It will not define you.
So yeah, those are some lessons that I learned. I have a ton more, but those are definitely the top 3. Something else we talked about a lot: sex.
Yeah, it's getting to it.
I don't know. Where should we start? This is a deep topic. No pun intended.
I would say it's very important also in relationships, before talking about sex, to kind of like piggyback off each other. Sorry, y'all. I don't eat cute, so if you're roast out, I apologize.
It is a mukbang.
I'm really hungry too.
Remember that you cooked on this.
So I just wanted to pinpoint that. But don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Hey, join the Yannanators. Thank y'all so much for all the love and appreciation on my last couple of videos y'all been showing out. I really appreciate that.
I watched that already.
Okay, I'll change it.
This is fine?
Yes. That's as far as I got. But he gonna eat those in 2 seconds. Make sure when getting in a relationship, you know that person's love language. It's very important. There's times where it may change just because we're always evolving and we're always changing, but I think that's a good way to communicate, because like Nate said, you can't expect someone to love you if you don't love yourself, but you also need to know how someone else may need to be loved, because it may be different from your way. Not saying you guys can never come to the same middle ground, but
I want some more.
okay.
Oh my god.
it could be a little different, you know?
Alright.
Go sit down. You get more.
Here, Bubs, give me your plate. Hey.
So,
Thanks. Go sit down.
I think knowing your love language is very important. And it's also like something cool that's, something fun that's, something that is cool and fun to do when meeting someone. Okay, y'all, sorry about that. I have to, you know, pause a couple times, my bad. So yeah, make sure you know that person's love language. If y'all both don't know y'all love languages, that could be something fun that y'all could do together. I say definitely try that. When it comes to, I feel like sex, I feel like we need to normalize knowing our sexual status. Like, and when I say that, I mean like STDs, all of them, even the ones that we try to not talk about. It's become normalized. It's become okay to not talk about it, and I feel like it shouldn't be awkward. If I ask you, hey, when was the last time you had an STD check? If you say it's been a year, thank you for being honest with me, but I'm gonna now go my own way. And let me clarify on that. If you are sexually active, you need to be having a checkup more often than every 6 months. Ain't that what you said they be saying it is on Google?
I mean, that's what doctors say.
Oh, doctors say? If
Every
you're
6 months.
if you're being sexually active, I feel like you need to go every 2 months. If you're like, if it's not with the same person.
Yeah,
Well, even
I was
still.
gonna say if you're sexually active and sexually active with multiple partners,
Yeah.
it's probably wise for you to go get a checkup.
Yep.
Every couple of months.
And I think that's okay, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like,
And regardless if you have insurance or not, because right now Planned Parenthood is still open for the time being.
yeah.
They'll work with you. The urgent cares, the clinics are out here.
And honestly,
If you could be humping, you could be getting checked out.
for your health, I don't care if you get a bill, you got to pay it later. Do what you got to do to be okay.
Absolutely.
Your health should be everything.
And knowledge is power.
Yeah. Knowing. Even if it was a one-time thing or whatever.
Something else I think people need to normalize. And this is where we get into the entertainment.
Yeah.
Making noise. What is up with men
Quiet.
wanting to be silent during sex?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about our potato friends here.
And then the answer is, what's the answer?
Well, one of the answers is the answer for everything, which is that's feminine,
Right.
that's gay,
I don't do that.
that's for girls,
I don't do that.
that's womanly.
So what do you do? Keep it simple. Because there's a lot of stuff you don't do. And let's also get into, don't label yourself as freaky or whatever.
A free spirit,
Down whatever, and the freakiest thing you've done,
experimental.
and the freakiest thing you've done was eat a girl from the back. Just
That
say,
is like in this day and age. That is elementary level sex.
and my thing is also, we all grown. My channel is mostly for grown-ups. Do not, how can I put this? Do not say you don't engage in foreplay because it's nasty. If I hear someone else say that,
Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't give, what is it called? Is it fellatio for women? Women too?
Cunnilingus.
Cunnilingus, sorry. What's fellatio? What women do to men?
What?
See, learn something new. The guy was like, I don't do that because that's nasty. A vagina is nasty.
Yeah.
Now, it depends on also who you laying down with.
I was gonna say all the private parts are nasty when you don't wash them.
And practice
care for
proper health, hygiene. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
I know that if you are not a giver, don't expect off the bat to be a receiver. I personally just don't think it's fair, first and foremost. Secondly, I mean, what kind of kid games are we playing here?
And also communicate that with the person.
Yeah, beforehand. That's a big one. Stepping out of the entertainment for a minute. Be vocal about what your sexual expectations are.
That's a conversation we can have even before we do anything, because we need to know if we're gonna be on the same page.
Talk about what your comfort levels are. Talk about things you've never done but always wanted to do. Talk about, and I'm talking about in terms of somebody you're going to be having sex with long term.
Right.
For a while.
Right.
If this is a one night, y'all probably won't have this conversation.
Right.
But if it is a one night, don't be afraid to stop the person and say, hey, I don't like that. I'm not doing that. If you got even a little ounce of your right mind left, make sure you let the person know when you're uncomfortable. It's not illegal.
And no means no. Unless said otherwise.
Simple. Normalize, we don't have to talk up our sexual experience to impress anyone.
Right.
I'd rather you not.
We don't have to, we don't, leave it up a mystery. Like, don't tell me everything you could do under the sun and what you could do with this and this. And then when this encounter happens, if it happens, it's like,
now you've set expectations that maybe you'll reach and maybe you won't. And if you don't, now I'm disappointed, you know?
And it's just awkward. Like,
and now I got to call my best friend the next day and say, girl, he said he was going to be X, Y, and Z. And he was really A, B, C.
And the other thing I want to talk about, it's not sexual, but it's about in the aspect of dating. I don't know if I touched on this. Or getting to know a female. I feel like what's happening a lot now, especially, or what's been happening silently for a long time, is guys are scared to talk to women that their friends may not be jealous of. Or may not be envious of having. I repeat. Some guys are scared to date potential women, potential great, phenomenal women, because they feel as though their friends will not see it as a threat or as like competition. Like, she won't be like a trophy or prize to win. Yeah. Based off of looks.
Societal
looks. Yeah. Because you can't say, oh, I've seen some scenarios where, like on TV, on social media, you know, a guy will be like, oh, you know, I'm really, really lonely. I would love to really have somebody to connect with. But then as soon as the girl that's not the societal typical female, it'll be like, nah, I'm not really looking for nothing serious. Why did your tone switch? And just a FYI or PSA for the people out there, you can lose weight.
Wait, was that the message?
No. Oh, yeah, that part was a little pop, yeah. And just, like, be okay with doing whatever comes naturally to you. Like, we all have preferences and, you know, preferences and types. But, I don't know. Sometimes be a little open. A little bit more open. At least giving it a try. Versus just automatically shooting it down because it doesn't possess certain your normal what is it? Normal
standards, qualities.
All that. That's all I got.
Because to be quite honest, if you have a certain type and it hasn't worked out in your type yet, maybe you have a different type.
Right.
That's just being honest.
Be a little bit more open-minded. But at least giving people chances. Like, at least seeing like, oh, okay, well, I tried that, it didn't work. Or we were so opposite that it wasn't something I could see myself being in long term or whatever.
Yeah, we just weren't compatible.
Like, that's all I mean. And doing different activities too. Like, don't be in such a bubble. Like, date night can be countless of things.
Oh, that's something I will touch on. I mentioned this before. I actually just had a first date recently.
How was that?
It was really fun.
Dating now is interesting.
Oh, dating in COVID times, that could be its own video. But it was fun. We did start out with a more traditional movie activity or date activity, which is go to the movies. Now, I've become a big believer that, like you said, dates don't have to be anything traditional.
Yeah.
They don't have to be one thing. I actually rather a date, especially, I mean, the first date for me kind of sets the tone for how the rest of everything is going to go.
Right.
You know, they say you only get one chance to make a first impression. So if we have a ton of fun on the first date, I mean, I'm gonna actively try to keep that energy between us.
Right.
And it's likely that the other person will too.
I think it also makes it like refreshing too.
Yeah, like it is refreshing when you and someone like just go and do something completely off the beaten path for a date. And now like you've created a bond, a memory.
Yeah.
Something that you guys can talk about for a while. And again, that energy or those vibes are established between you. And you can feed off of that for the next few days.
Yeah. I've taken, like, one thing I'll say that I'm very proud of myself for doing recently is not being, like, trying to be more open with engaging with people I may be interested. Even if it didn't turn out the way I had anticipated. Like they said, closed mouth, what does it say? Closed mouth don't get fed.
Facts.
I feel like someone's not going to just automatically know you're interested in them. I'm not saying do it to everybody you see on the street or everyone you follow on social media or every single person in the world. But it's okay to step out of your comfort, try it, see what happens.
And to express interest in people that, you know, intrigue you. I feel like a lot of times we have a tendency not to go for what we want, who we want, the things we want, because we feel like they're above us.
Okay, I'll get you some more, baby.
We feel like they're above us.
Yeah,
or,
why do we feel that way?
you know, we feel like we're not good enough, we're not worthy enough, we're not sexy enough, we're not fit enough. And really, I mean, some people might take the approach of like, no matter what shape and size, I can do anything. Which is, sure,
Yeah.
to some degree.
Yeah.
But also, I think some of us, all of us, have to be under the realization that sometimes you just won't fit the part. And that's okay. Sometimes somebody is looking for, and I'm talking about jobs, dating, whatever. Sometimes somebody is looking for a specific type.
Yeah. And that's fun.
And sometimes you just won't fit that. And I think we just gotta be okay with
That possibility.
rejection. That's something that you said that
Yeah. That's the
you've
thing.
dealt with a lot.
That's something I feel like it's hard. I'm sure for anyone it can be hard, but for me, that's just with not even just with relationships, ideas, meeting new friends, making new friends, like, you know, it's just how I've always been. So sometimes I just happen to just linger in the background, cause that rejection is a big fear sometimes. Not saying all people's trash, but maybe if it ain't coming to you, it ain't for you.
Girl.
You heard me. And not everything is meant to fit you too. So like if someone comes into your life, that doesn't necessarily mean y'all gonna be together.
That's a big one.
It might just be a bomb friendship. It might just be a bomb partnership. It might just be whatever is intended. But you have to let things flow naturally. I feel like when there's a lot of force, it doesn't work. And I feel like it can't just be on one side. Patience is a big thing. That's something I also lack. Is being patient. I'm a Gemini, for those of you who don't know. Patience is not on my agenda.
I'm a Cancer. We play the waiting game.
So just be shoot and answer the question too.
Answer below
In the comments. Oh man, I got it everywhere. What do you value more, and what do you think is more important in a relationship?
Okay.
Love or sex?
For all intents and purposes, I'm gonna say love.
Okay.
Sex can only hold you for so long. I gotta be honest.
Yeah. I feel
Love is about the connection. Love is where the longevity is. Love is what's gonna make you stick around. When this person gets sick and needs somebody to take care of them. When this person is in need. When this person is down in the dumps. It's gonna be love that has you sticking around to see them through whatever their, hardships are.
Hold on, Aiden.
Sex is an added bonus,
Right.
but sex doesn't guarantee longevity,
Right.
and sex doesn't guarantee love.
My aunt Betty had asked me when I seen her last.
Oh, okay.
This is a question I'm about to ask you now. Do you fall in love or do you grow in love?
I think it's one and then the other.
Why do you say?
Because when I meet you, I'm not in love with you.
Right.
Some people believe in love at first sight. I'm not one of those people. So, and rather than say fall in love, I'm gonna say maybe I recognize it. Maybe I recognize that I love you sometime in our encounter.
Okay.
So, all right, love is established now. We've recognized it. Boom. Now, love can either be consistent. It might change. It might look different after a while. But it's going to be consistent. And the longer a relationship goes on, whether it be a friendship, relationship, whatever, you grow to love that person more and more. You grow to love them in different ways. You grow to love them for different reasons.
Okay.
Or if you go another way, maybe you realize love at the beginning, and then it fizzles out after a while. But I think you fall in it or realize it first, and then you grow in it.
Okay.
If it's meant to be.
Oh, I'm coming back, y'all. Hold on. My answer was. Hold on. All right. I think my answer that I gave was I think you grow in love. Just more of like over time, like okay, how did I word it? I feel like you grow in love because I feel like you grow with that person. So I feel like over time, once you truly, like, okay, my last relationship I was in for 4 years. I never really been in a relationship before, so I wasn't in love right off the bat. Like, it wasn't like that. I feel like as I got to know the person over time, I was growing to be in love with them, or what I thought they were, if you will. Because I made my own, my own image of them, if you will, and not really looking at what was physically in the physical in front of me. I feel like you can fall in love easy. Some people it happens very easy. Some people it is love at first sight. Where I'm at right now in my life, I kind of still want to fall in love the same way. Like, I want to, like, grow into loving someone, but it being reciprocated is the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to just tell me you love me because I'm the first person you spoke to in a long time. Or because, I'm good energy, I'm a good person, oh, we have a good conversation, oh, we laugh. Like, those are great bonuses, don't get me wrong, but I need kind of longevity where I'm at in my age, like, where I'm at in my life right now, like, where I'm at, period. I see, like, I do desire to get married, I do desire to maybe have another child, not obviously tomorrow, but in time. I do want to build something with someone, but they have to be willing to, if not be on the same level as where I'm at mentally, surpassing me. I'm not trying to build someone up. I'm not trying to repair things that you went through. I'm gonna need you to see a therapist, do some counseling, meditation, yoga, whatever. I'm gonna need you to normalize that in your life. Let that sizzle in your spirit. I need you to be sure of your emotions and who you are as a human, because I don't have the energy to give you me while you're trying to work on you in that aspect. Not saying don't be supportive. Be supportive, of course. But I'm not building a man. Build a man workshop. That's not what this is going to be. And I don't want you to build me. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean that to come off as like don't change, don't evolve. Evolving is good. Change is good. But I'm saying, like, don't ask me to fix things that I had no parts in destroying.
Let's put it in simpler terms. I heard someone say before, I've heard a few people say before, you don't come into a relationship with one.
Mommy, the phone.
Where is it?
Right here.
Go get it.
Okay.
It's under the bed, Aiden. Is it under the bed? Dude, you're doing the nose right now. I'm just trying to film.
Whatever happened to us in our past to define our whole being. A lot of the times, and I can only say this because it was me at one point, and I'm working all the time to overcome it. But the things that happened in your past, things that have scarred you for a long time, things that, may have at some point defined the way that you interacted with other people, that you handled situations, that you reacted to situations, that you,
went about certain things.
Just handled your life.
Yeah.
At some point, your past becomes the only characteristic you have. It becomes your whole personality.
It's like, hey, my name is Yanna John, and I have trust issues. And I have abandonment issues, and I'm insecure at times. And it's not like, oh, I'm Yanna John, and I like to,
I'm bubbly, and I make videos, and I'm
like
a mom, and it's
eating
like
sushi or something. Like,
and it's like, hi, I'm miserable. What's your name?
And
that's what it becomes.
Now, we're not saying be oblivious or show a false face to these things, but
also not saying to ignore your past. What I'm really saying is confront your past. Confront your past and deal with it so that you can move on, and so that those things don't define your life and become the only thing that determines how your life turns out.
Right.
Like, you have the chance to do
change the
things
narrative
completely differently than how things were done when you were growing up. If you had a deadbeat parent, if you want to be a parent, now you have the opportunity to not be one. If you grew up in an unhealthy environment, emotionally, physically, you have the chance to now be an adult who does things healthily, eating, eating well, working out,
seeing
seeing a therapist, talking to your friend, having open communication,
having healthy relations, and being and being okay with having to step away or let someone go or people go because they may not serve you in where you're at. That's very uncomfortable. It's very hard to do. I've lost friends. I've had friends walk out my life, and I haven't been a year.
That we've been friends?
No,
or that we've been working on our stuff.
So maybe you've been friends for about 16 years.
Yeah.
Since we realized there was an issue, how long ago was that?
We've known there was an issue
for a while,
for a long time. When we recognized it and actually started to work
as
on
adults,
it, was probably toward the end of your relationship, maybe.
Yeah. So towards the end of my relationship is when we start working on it. Now, she would ask me, we would, I would get distant. I would get kind of cold. I wouldn't really communicate. Then we would get back to talking. We would have some kind of sort of deep conversation that really was a waste of time because it never gave clarity on anything.
It was surface level deep. It was like the understanding faces.
But not really sure of what was actually. It was like pretty much talking in circles. To whereas eventually, hopefully, someone will get tired and we can just move on. Or someone will go home and we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Mostly just putting band-aids on gunshot wounds.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, sometimes letting go of something that no longer serves you is the best thing you could do for you and also the other person. So,
would you say we reached a boiling point at one point?
Yeah.
I think the conversation that we had in your old kitchen.
Yeah. So, in my old apartment, Nate came over, we were talking. And she was going through her own thing at the time, but I really wasn't aware of it.
Sorry. We weren't in a great place at the time. I had come over on invitation, but I really just came to see my godson because we weren't tip top.
Now I will say I never once made her feel as though because we weren't on good terms she couldn't be a part of her godson's life because I feel like that is two separate things. And I don't feel like we were that I don't feel like it was a level of disrespect. It was honestly just a level of miscommunication and pettiness.
Of course. All the time.
And when your ego's too big, and I'm a Gemini, she's a Cancer, and we just know how each other is. We know how to go a long time without addressing the elephant in the room.
Yeah, there was no hate, no real actual animosity.
It was pettiness. It was like,
but it was more like I can't get her to understand me.
Right.
And I'm somebody who's big on
say what you mean and mean what you say.
That, and I really like to be understood. That's like an unwritten love language of mine is I just want you to get where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a while where we just weren't getting where each other was coming from.
Nope.
And again, she was dealing with her relationship, coming to an end. So she couldn't really see the forest for the trees, and that wasn't really her fault.
And it's just it was just too much. Dealing with my own things in my own head, relationship stuff. Excuse me. Not knowing what the next step would be, it's weird. I really don't want to explain it now because I'm so far from that mindset. It seems kind of like I'm two different people in a way.
Chill.
I gotta stop drinking like that. I'm drinking like a shoes. But that's what some people would say was the tower effect for me. Everything come crashing down to rebuild, but in a good way. Growing up, being uncomfortable to be able to be comfortable. What's the thing I posted today? God will make you uncomfortable to give you what is meant for you, or something along those lines. And I was uncomfortable. I hate confrontation. Being on the hot seat, having to commit. Like, I'm more of like a let me just blend in and hopefully no one would notice. Like, but when it's a friendship with two people and you're not in a group, who you blending in with?
Nobody.
And
Just sticking out like a sore thumb.
just as much as you notice if it's a real friendship, and if it depends on your friendship. Some people go a long time, not see each other, and they be content, and that's just the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could just go a long time period and let it be that hit you up once in a blue moon.
I would call those surface level friendships. Here's a little tidbit about me, little background. I'm somebody who has always cherished friendship. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings, and my 2 older siblings are much older than I am. So some would say I'm an only child. So when I had friends, I treated them like sisters. They were very close to me. I still believe that to this day. My friends are my family. Now, I've always been somebody, again, who has been big on communication. Let's talk about what's bothering us. Let's talk about, where we went wrong in this situation. Why we have an attitude for no reason, or whatever the case. And it took me a while to realize that not everybody's going to function like I am. Or some people, it just takes them, it takes them a little bit longer to be receptive to things like that. And some people just aren't going to be in a place in their lives where they can receive friendship like that. There's a lot of factors that I had to learn to work through.
Yeah.
And I had to learn to allow her to get to a place where she saw, I don't want to say where you saw value in the friendship, but
being able to changing the narrative of the friendship. For a long time, we were friends based off childhood. Childhood friendships isn't much. It's, oh, can I come over? Yeah, all right, come over, hang out.
At least ours was.
Well, very surface level type things, which is nothing wrong with it. That was just a given.
Mm-hmm.
But then over time, that's all the stories was just, oh, this is the same, da-da-da-da-da-da. We didn't travel. We didn't make other, we would go out to, clubs and bars and stuff, but very, minor things, not very big. As much as we would say, this is my best friend, it wasn't very, this is my best friend, and this is all we have to show for it. You know what I mean? It was, this is my best friend, and this is all we have to show for it, and this little pal right here, which was the same type of thing. Not saying, oh, well, last year we went here, or last year, oh, I was there for her for this, or this year we did this, or that year, and not only she's the godmother of my child, but you know what I'm saying? A little bit more oomph with it, given the titling. Not only is she my best friend, but she's the godmother of my child. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, a lot more, value to it, and not let it be so, oh, well, instead of saying best friend, but treating her like an associate, or treating her as, a work colleague, or treating her as, a neighbor. So working on my communication, which my communication has not always been good. I don't mean to purposely not communicate with people. It's just something that just kind of happens. It just happens. It's not necessarily all because I'm mad. It's just sometimes I'm just wrapped up in my own world, which is my home now, or in my own mind, that